Unlike previous breakdowns, this one is going to be much less detailed on equipment, because this is an intermediate level jibe. As such, you should already be accomplished with a normal jibe, and this is just a different transition of the wing. What we are going to focus on are the conditions to try this jibe for the first time. Because this jibe involves putting the wing in a backwind position, very briefly, you want to do this initially in light wind. The race jibe is actually a jibe best suited towards light winds, as it powers up on the way into the jibe, generating speed, and then the wing transition happens very quickly. It is actually a lot harder to do this jibe when well powered, as it is difficult to depower the wing in these conditions. This jibe is also one that requires fairly precise timing, which if you get wrong leads to you getting backwinded by the wing and knocked off the board, and we don't want to do that in very powered up conditions. Light wind gives us both time and easier wing management for this unfamiliar manipulation of the wing. You want to use the smallest wing you can, so if you can make a 4 meter work in 15 knots then use that. If not, a 5 meter is also fine. Lastly, if you can use a foil with a reasonable glide, that also helps give you some time rather than dropping off foil too quickly. Okay, that's the introduction for this manoeuvre done. Let's try to talk through one at full speed. Okay, so first of all, quick check under the wing. Initiate the turn, hold on to the backhand until the wing starts to depower, turn it nose down, throw the back handle over your left shoulder, change hands and foil away. And obviously, as usual, this is way too fast and we need to slow this right down to really analyse what's going on. As usual, we always want to do our check under the wing before we initiate a jibe, because we want to make sure that there's nobody downwind of us that we're just going to turn straight into or cut across their path and cause a big crash. So that's our safety check that we should always do before we do a jibe. And the next thing we're going to do is start our turn in. I'm going to shift my weight here onto the balls of my feet, which is going to initiate the turn, and I want to keep that pressure throughout the turn. I'm also going to sheet in the backhand very slightly here because I want to power up and generate some speed for the manoeuvre. Note that I've moved the wing ahead of me here whilst also keeping it sheeted in. This is so that when it starts to depower, I can turn it nose down without it ending up behind me. And you will feel as you turn around and you keep that pressure in the balls of your feet that the wing will suddenly start to lose power, and at that point you can safely start to push the nose down like I am now. This part of the transition is usually very quick, and I don't usually wait to feel the wing start to backwind, but instead lift it with my back hand and put the back handle over my left shoulder. At most you want the wing nose down for 1 second. As soon as the handle is over my shoulder and the wing is flattened out, you can change hands, grab the back handle with your new backhand and get yourself into a comfortable toe side stance, power up and start to foil away. Okay, so let's look at another one of these, but this time we're going to come in closer and have a look at what's going on with the wing and my hands in a little more detail. Okay, so here we are and we're just starting to initiate the turn, and I'm going to sheet in the wing here and keep it in the powered up position. So we're looking to be powered up all the way into this jibe and all the way around to the downwind position. Unlike an ordinary jibe where we're going to let go of the wing, we're going to stay powered up all the way through here. And I'm also going to move the wing forward slightly in relation to my body. And the reason I'm going to do that is because when the wing depowers and I get to the point where I can safely turn it nose down without it pulling it out of my hands, I want to have that nose down position with the strut in front of me, not alongside me, because the wing's going to flip back up again and I don't want the strut to flip into me, I want it to flip in front of me. So okay, so we're turning. Now the pressure's going out the wing here, and as I turn it down here there's virtually no pressure in the wing at all. I'm going to switch my back hand around as well to palm up so that I can pull the wing back up. So you'll see that hand switch coming now. And then the moment I feel the slightest bit of pressure on the back of the wing, I'm going to lift by the back handle and the front handle back up to eye level so that the wing sort of flips, and it's almost like throwing the handle over your shoulder. You can see I've let go of it now because it's now flipping on its own with the wind, and I'm doing the change of my hands on the front handle at this point, which you can't see because my body's in the way. But that change is done, and I'm now reaching for the back handle. And then as soon as I grab that back handle, we're effectively in the toe side stance and we can sail out. The key thing to note here is that when we turn the nose of that wing down, we want the wing kind of in front of us. We don't want the wing to be able to flip up and hit us with the strut. We want it to flip up in front of us, and we want to do the lifting of the wing. We don't just want to allow it to pivot from the low down position. We want to lift it up so that it pivots at eye level. The wait time in the nose down position is about 1 second. If we go longer than that, then we have to sail just straight downwind or be on a much shallower arc of a turn, but this was quite a tight turn into the race jibe, and so the wing can only be down in that nose down position for about a second. If we leave it down there too long, it will backwind and literally smash us straight off the board. So if you've got it down for a second, it's time to lift it and pull on that backhand to initiate the pivot so that it flips at eye level, and then it's out of the way and it's not going to hit your body and smack you off the board. Okay, so that's the close-up of the hand motion. Okay, so this next example is goofy foot. We're going to lift the wing and have a little look underneath in a moment, and also a look behind, just to make sure that I'm not going to turn into anybody who's sailing along either behind me or there's anyone downwind of me underneath the wing. And there's the little check there. And then we're going to start the turn into this goofy footed or right foot forward race jibe. And this example is a little bit different in that this one has an early flip of the wing, so I'm not actually waiting until the wing gets back pressure, and I'm going to flip it early. So we're moving the wing forward, sheeting in, and then at this point here we're going to turn the wing down, and then almost immediately I'm flipping it straight over my right shoulder, and you can see the way the wing is facing almost straight downwind ahead of me, and that's an early flip of the wing, and I can now sheet in and complete the rest of the jibe. I just wanted to show that one because you can flip the wing much earlier. You don't have to wait until the turn has gone all the way around to the back-winded position. You can actually flip early, and the wing will kind of head with the strut pointing straight downwind in the direction you're going, like it did in that example. Okay, so this next one is also goofy foot or right foot forwards, and at this point I've already done my wing checks and downwind checks, and we're getting ready to go into our jibe. At this point I'm rolling my weight onto the balls of my feet to initiate the turn, and we're sheeting in on the wing, or maintaining the sheet in on the wing, so that we're powering into this jibe, keeping the power on, making sure that we accelerate and have plenty of speed for the jibe itself. You can see here I've lifted the wing up a little bit, and I'm making sure that I'm keeping the wing in front of me so that when I turn it nose down, that strut is not going to be coming up and hitting me, it's going to be in front of me and out of the way. And as you can see here, that is really quite obvious here. The wing is being pushed really quite far forwards ahead of me now, and my backhand is almost at the center point of my body. It's no longer behind me at all, and I'm just waiting for pressure to go out of the wing here, and I can feel that disappearing now, so I'm turning the nose of the wing downwards to get it into the race jibe position, or the back-winded position. And this particular jibe again is a very slightly early jibe. I'm flipping the wing slightly early, not as early as the previous example, but I'm almost doing the flip straight away. I'm not waiting to get all the way around into the backwind position. I'm actually lifting the wing up already. I've let go with the backhand, and the wing is now flipping at eye level, and you'll see here that it does point downwind a little in the direction of the board, but not as much as the previous example. I'm a little bit more across the board this time. The handle's right there in front of me for me to grab, and as soon as I get hold of that handle, I can pull some pressure into that wing, and that will allow me to roll more weight onto the balls of my feet. You'll see that as soon as I sheet in, we'll get some more weight onto the toes, and that will pull the board around and start the turn to be more aggressive and get us back onto a toe side reach. Okay, so now I'm starting to do that proper pull in and sheet in on the backhand, so the wing is now coming back to help me to pull the board around. We should see here, I'll get a little bit more power into the wing in a moment. There we go, it's starting to power up now, and now I can really lean into that turn. You can see me leaning the board over more now, and we can see the board coming around, turning onto the intended toe side reach, and I can get the wing into a more cruising type position to sail out the jibe. And that completes our coverage of the race jibe. I hope it's been useful, and I'll see you on the next breakdown.